Hello, it's Sarah. I'm here to guide you through a tutorial on sewing a tidy bias binding, specifically on a hanbok vest. Bias binding is a crucial skill in your sewing journey, as it often adds the final touch to a project, significantly influencing the overall quality of the end result. I believe that a significant portion of my audience consists of beginner sewists, so I thought I would break it down for you in more detail. Let's get started. Let's begin with creating a long bias tape using my preferred method. I've chosen to create my bias tapes using fabric scraps, cut 3-inch wide strips. As the name suggests, for the bias tape, it's crucial to cut it at a 45-degree angle to allow flexibility, especially since we often bind curves. Align the short raw edges of the strips, making sure to offset them by the seam allowance amount. While the bias tape measurement chart is available in the instructions, keep in mind it's designed for an 18-inch long vest and may vary. Open the seams and press. Fold the bias tape in half lengthwise, press again. Trim the small triangles. And your bias tape is ready for the bias binding. Start sewing in the least visible areas, typically around side seams on the back bodies. Of course, this vest is reversible. However, decide which side you anticipate will be worn less, and we will start from that side since it might become less visually appealing. Align the raw edges of the folded bias binding and begin sewing 2 to 3 inches away from the starting end. Visually divide the binding into 3 sections widthwise and sew along the first section. Keep the ties out of the way. Mark sections if necessary for precision. Take your time when sewing, maintaining a consistent seam allowance. Slightly stretch the bias tape on curves, avoiding excessive pulling. Do not stretch the bias tape on straight edges, only to sew on neckline and front curvy edges. When you reach the beginning, sew until you meet the starting point. Fold the bias tape over towards the seam and move the beginning edges so that the ends are at the right angles to each other. Sew diagonally from the corner to the initial stitch line. Trim and open the seam. Practice may be needed for optimal results. Wrap the seam by folding over the bias tape and pin in place. For top stitching, set the stitch length to 3.5 to 4. A longer stitch provides a cleaner look and accommodates curved bias tapes. For a neat finish, hide the stitch line slightly with the folded edge and edge stitch about 1/8 inch away from the edge. Avoid sewing too close to the edge, ensuring that your stitches are on the opposite side of the bias binding. Also, refrain from sewing on the center of the bias binding, as it may result in a messy or uneven appearance. Repeat the same steps for bias binding on the armholes, ensuring to stretch the bias binding continuously. The fabric curling in is a sign that you are doing it right. Achieving a clean bias binding can be challenging if you're not yet a master. I hope that with this video and a few Hanbok vest projects under your belt, you will become proficient in mastering bias binding on your sewing journey. I hope you find this video helpful. If so, please consider subscribing to this channel and giving it a like. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back with more videos soon. 안녕! Bye now!